Welcome to the Charity Connector. Hosted by Dominic Fenton and produced by Grow Radio, we give you an insight into the hearts of charities making waves in our world.
Hi everyone, it's Dom Fenton on the Charity Connector. Welcome back to our next episode. So today we have Geraldine with us. Hi Geraldine, how are you?
Hello Dom, I am fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on.
No problem, it's great for you to be here. So Geraldine, if people don't know you, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Hey, thank you. Hello everyone, I am Geraldine and I run Meadows Shop Mobility in Chelmsford. We are all about getting people out and about, independent, with people with mobility needs, whether they be long-term needs or short-term needs. We do offer a palliative care hire at a way reduced rate because obviously you're not going to use the scheme for very long. We also offer holiday hires, and we've got little boot scooters that go down in the back of our cars, and go off on their holidays with you. And we also offer a medical hire. So by meaning that if you've had an operation, you can't walk for a little bit, then we have equipment that you can borrow for as long as you need it. There are costs involved, but we try as a charity to keep those costs very low.
Brilliant. That's so much. There is so much there to unpack.
There is.
So in terms of, and I live in Chelmsford. So when I saw this, I was like, great. I had a small idea that you were there. But obviously, when people see the word sort of mobility scooters, so sometimes just things come up in their minds. So in terms of the organisation itself, why don't you talk to me about how it started, but then also how you got involved?
Okay, that's fine. So in 1999, a group of people got together to bring shop mobility to Chelmsford. It took them a few years, and they first started taking on members in June 2023. And they then put forward the scheme, and it was very popular to start with because it was quite rare that you had a scooter yourself. So in subsequent years now, people have their own scooters, but in the beginning they most certainly didn't, and it was a good scheme because it got people out and about and around Chelmsford, and we were very busy. We're not quite as busy as we used to be, but we still do have good usage, and our clients are all very keen to come in and see us and get shopping, go on their holidays, etc. I got sick about 15 years ago, and I lost the use of my legs. I can walk, but I'm not very good at it. So I came as a member. From that, I started to volunteer, and from volunteering, I became the manager's assistant. When the two managers that I worked for retired or moved on, I took over, and I've been doing it about 8 years now. We've just got a whole new board of trustees, and they're very keen to bring forward the service and change it a little bit more. And we do charge for our service. It's not free, but it works out to be about 70p a week. So £36 for the year, and then you renew after that year. If you want to, you don't have to renew. We offer a pay-as-you-go service, so if you're not going to use us that often, you can come in and get a casual hire, and we put you down as a pay-as-you-go, and so then you don't have to keep filling the forms out each time you come in and proving who you are with your ID. So we're trying to make it as accessible as possible to everybody. We can also do a monthly membership fee. It's £3 a month. You pay £9 to sign up. Then from then on, you get 3 months grace to take the form to your bank, and then you can pay £3 a month. We would like to give it free, but unfortunately, with all the rising costs and everything, and the cost of electricity these days, we have to charge.
Well, thing is that I suppose in terms of how this works, there's a lot of ways all over there is that cost, and obviously, yes, we don't always want to charge, but actually there needs to be that moment. And we do look, because actually I don't think you're just providing a service, and from what I'm hearing, actually you are enabling someone to have a better standard of living.
That is correct.
Would that be right?
That is correct. We offer freedom and independence to be able to actually go out on your own. When I first got sick, my daughters, who weren't very old, were pushing me in a wheelchair, and they thought it was quite funny to leave mummy in the middle of the high street while they wandered off. And I got very frustrated by this, and I really didn't want to be sitting in the middle of the high street waiting for them to come back and push me down the hill. So that's when I found Shop Mobility, and that's when I started. And it was great to be able, because I couldn't drive at that time either, but to get on a scooter and to be able to just pop all around the city centre. It was town back then, but a city centre was amazing. And I could get in by myself, and I could go off. And also, when I did start to walk again, I wouldn't have been able to go to many shops. Whereas with using the scooter, I could go to all the shops that I wanted to go to and not be exhausted when I got home from my 9-year-old. My eldest is 10 years older than her, so between the two of them, and she was 9. She needed her mummy. She didn't need me to be. I used to have to take her to go and get a school uniform, and to be able to do that and not have to rely on anybody else to do so was life-giving to me. And that's why I'm so passionate about Shop Mobility, because it is about getting out, it's seeing people, going to a cafe. Our parks in Chelmsford are amazing spaces to get out in. I know the weather's not very good at the moment, but nonetheless, it's still an amazing space to go and see all the things that are growing. To sit by the river, it's lovely. It's one of my passions to I drive along there because where I live, I've got a little scooter of my own, so I scoot into work. And it's really life affirming, I think is the word I'm looking for. And independence to disabled people is a real treasure, because you don't often get independence as you lose your mobility. So to be able to have that, I think, is very important.
I think it's so vital. And yes, I've lived in Chelmsford most of my life. And, for me, I think I wish I'd heard about it before, because actually all we can do is share what's out there. And the amount of people that we see struggle, certainly have mobility issues around getting around. Actually, it is life-changing for them. And I suppose as well, for me, I expect you probably get, you probably have your regulars that will come in. How often will people, do they come in weekly to you? Do they daily? How does all of that work?
Yeah, we get regulars come in. Some come in 2 to 3 times a week because they want to get out and about. They go out for lunch. They go to the cinema. So they can take a scooter in the cinema if it's a lunchtime one, because obviously our closing hours inhibit past 4 o'clock.
Right.
But we are open 6 days a week. We just tailor that to the usage with times. And we do see regulars a lot these days.
And I think a lot of just generally in society now, I was talking to someone last week about this, there's so much isolation anyway. And for me, we talk a lot around mental health and other things. Actually, isolation's, for me, probably one of the biggest things. And actually what you're enabling people to do is not feel isolated.
Precisely. Also, if they come into our office, they're always welcome to have a cup of tea and a sit down and a chat. We've got several of our members. They come in, they have a cuppa with us, and they tell us all their news. They ask us how we are, and because we've got quite a variety of volunteers as well. So they get their favourite volunteer and they come in and have a sit down and a chat. And we've been invited to their parties and their bit of a do's over the years, it is an absolute community. It's not just about hiring out a scooter. It's the care and attention that we can give to people, and they give back in an enormous amount. So it makes it worthwhile for the volunteer and for the people that come in.
And from what I'm seeing on camera, so if anyone's listening to this as a podcast, the passion that comes and the amount of pride that comes from you when you talk about this, I can see it coming out. I can see it coming out in you, how proud you are of what you do as an organization and the impact that has on other people.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you to say so. I am impassioned about it because it did give me my life back. I don't know what I would have done without Shop Mobility. And then to become a volunteer and then to then pass on that working there, the relationship that I've got with all our volunteers is like family. We do stuff together at Christmas and other times throughout the year because we are family. And we project that to our members as well. And I really do appreciate you saying that. That's very kind. Thank you.
Not a problem. I think what comes from this is that actually, if people didn't understand, you're someone who's lived that experience. So not only as someone whose life's changed because of what's happened, but then because of the mobility scooters, but then actually because you were a volunteer. What made you volunteer?
I wanted to start because I'd lost my job
Right.
through the ill health. I was very poorly for quite a while, and I wanted to slowly start getting my life back. I'd been ill for 3 years, and then as I say, I found the scooters, and from there I could see that they needed volunteer help, and so that's why I started, because I used to do a Friday morning and with all the other volunteers and run the reception, book the scooters in and out. And then because I got on so well with the manager, she asked me to be her assistant, and I was on benefits at the time. And that got me off of benefits. It got me back into the workplace. It gave me back my confidence. It gave me back my life in so many different ways. And that's what I try to promote with the service to people that need to get out and about, and also the volunteers, because most of the volunteers don't have a job for one reason or another. They can come to me, gain experience, give them their confidence, and then they can get back out into the workplace. I've had several people go on to get proper jobs after working with me, and it always makes me really proud, because sometimes they come to me and they won't say hello, even they won't even pick the phone up, but by the time that they've been with me for quite a while, the confidence come back, and it's so lovely to see. And it just is, well, it can be quite magical to see these people get and find their lives again after whatever disaster has happened to them.
Yeah, and this is why I love doing what I do, because we met half an hour ago, and already I feel connected to you in a way because I can see it, and we can see the passion, we can hear the passion, we can see the pride, and actually, for the last probably 20 seconds, I just sat there smiling, because actually, this is what organizations should be. This is what charities, non-profit, this is what they should be. They should be places that not only to the people using the service, but actually also those within the service. Because because I think actually there is a privilege to do a lot of what we do.
Most definitely, I certainly agree there. It is a privilege. It's a privilege to help people. It makes me so happy when someone's brought their mum in that won't even use a walking stick, and we get them on this, no, I'm not doing it. And then to see their faces, well, hang on a minute, this is amazing, I'm not struggling. And that's happened so many times over the years that I've been there. And it never fails to amaze me, and it never fails to make my heart sing that they've now can go out and make their daughter, their son, run behind them because they're zooming off down the high street. And I think that is, it's one of the delights of my job. It really is.
No, yeah. And that's the, when you were talking, I was imagining someone just going really fast and someone trying to keep up behind them.
Well, they only do 4 miles an hour. Well, mostly. We do have some bigger ones. So with our scheme as well, we've got no limit on time that you can hire. So we open at 9:30. On a Monday, we close at 2:30 because Monday's our least busy day, apart from Saturdays. Saturdays is another least busy day. I think people tend to avoid town on a Saturday because, it's people that work, isn't it, that go into town on a weekend. But we are open from 9:30 to 12:30. And then the rest of the week, we're open at 9:30 till 4. And you can come at 9:30, you can get a scooter, and you don't have to bring it back to me till 4:00. And there is no actual time limit, only your time limit and our opening times. There's no barrier to going where you want to. You can go all the way from in town, all the way over to Chelmer Village with the shopping centre there, or you can go all the way up to Prince's Road to Tesco's. That we've got no boundaries to where you want to go on the scooter. All we ask is that you bring it back before we close.
Yeah, love that. So in terms of where you are at this current time as an organisation, where do you want to be? If we look ahead to the next 2-3 years, where would you like to be in the next 2-3 years?
Well, I would still like to be serving Chelmsford as much as we can. I would like to be able to give the service free. We are working on that. We're trying to get grants. We do have a shop that partially funds us. It's called Chelmsford Community Bookshop. You can find us on Facebook as well as Meadow Shop Mobility. We're on Facebook. And we have 5,000 plus books in store, or all sorts of genres, all sorts of hardback or softback, and it's all alphabetized, and it's all in it's a lovely environment in the shop, and it's another community space. We were in danger of losing the shop because the rents are so high, but we're managing at the moment and we're keeping it going. We've just implemented gift aid in there for the first time. We've just got a brand new spanking till. We was given a grant from Essex Community Foundation to pay for the till. That was amazing. I was so grateful because it was a lot of money and I didn't really want to have to pay it out of our savings. And they were really kind and saw the need. So that's just literally got in this week. We used to only just take cash payments, but we can now take card as well. And that's really helped people because not a lot of people have cash these days, and an impulse buy and you've not got any cash. So now we can cater to all your impulse buys in the shop. And it is another community safe place. We get people to come in, they sit down. We've got a little seating area. We've got a children's corner. We've got young adult reading books, and it is an amazing space, and all the volunteers in there do an absolutely stunning job. We were nominated for the best small or indie business in the Chelmsford For You Awards, and we won.
Amazing.
And I am so proud of everybody that has had all the input and the passion to keep the bookshop open and to keep us earning money in there.
So not only do you do an amazing job with the mobility scooters and giving people that independence, but you've also now got an award-winning bookshop.
We have indeed, and I am so proud. When they announced us, because we went to a dinner in the cathedral just this past Wednesday, and when they announced it was us, my heart just leapt into my throat, and I was just so pleased. It is the best boost that we could have because we nearly lost the shop this year. To go from that dire straits to winning an award was absolutely amazing.
No, that's and even that bit's an incredible journey.
Most definitely.
To go from there to there, it's fantastic. But talk about volunteers. How many volunteers do you have?
I have a team of about 30 in between the bookshop and the office. We could do more. Could do with doing more in the office. I've got a couple of vacancies in the afternoons, but we understand that it's not always easy to volunteer for people, but I would encourage people to volunteer, especially 16-year-olds, because it really it adds to your CV. It adds to what universities and colleges are looking for. We don't tend to take DofE volunteers because they're that little bit too young for our insurance. But if they're 16, then please come along. We've just had a lovely young girl volunteering in the bookshop just recently on her work experience, and it's a tonic to see someone younger putting in their hours, putting in their time, learning skills, learning how to interact with customers. And she was so quiet when she arrived, and now she's quite loud. So it's lovely. I love it. Love it.
If in terms of, so we know that majority of charities and non-profit organisations, we know that one big issue is funding. We know that's all across the UK and probably globally, to be fair. We've touched a little bit on volunteering. Are there any other areas really that you'd like support, or you think that actually we could really do with something else? Or
we do need to be able to write bids better and try and get funds in, because I really want to be able to offer the service for free. That's my ultimate game. My big plan is to offer it free. And if I could do that would make all my Sundays come at once. It would be amazing. But we can't do that unless we start writing bids. And just running a charity, running the bookshop is quite hard work. I'm part-time hours and I'm never off duty. I've just taken on an assistant for the first time, because I was doing it all on my own for about 8 years. But we've got to find her wages out of the coffers as well. So if I could get some core costs somewhere, that would be amazing. It's so difficult, though, to find someone that does core costs. People want projects when they're giving money away, and I don't really have a project apart from just surviving. So if I could get core costs and someone to help me get the core costs, that would just make the charity even better.
Yeah, and I think as well, it is such a needed service. So, this is, obviously I live in Chelmsford. Obviously a lot of my network are local, although, we've now got, through this podcast and another work that we do, we've got a lot of contacts all over the world now. But actually, I think it's a really worthy cause.
Thank you. And
I've said to other people on other podcasts, if there is anything I can never do, please reach out. You've got our contacts now.
Thank you.
We will always try and share. If there's things you want us to share for you on our socials, then we can do. We've got contacts with lots of local clubs and community groups and schools and all this sort of thing across the whole area. So yeah, honestly, from that point, please do reach out to me.
Thank you.
Because I have seen the impact. I have seen the impact this has.
So networking between charities is paramount, I think. We're all trying to draw from the same pot of people. And so if we could all network together and show each other kindness as well, I think that is a huge step forward to moving forward, to improving and to survival.
Yeah, and people will hear this on my other podcasts and other ones that I talk about. Actually, there is such a power in collaboration. And every organisation does amazing things for the people who use it.
They do.
But actually, right now, let's look at collaborating and bringing people together, and we can have a bigger impact on more people.
Exactly. I mean, just supporting other charity workers. At this events evening that we went to on Wednesday, I sat next to a lady and she was saying exactly the same as me. She feels alone. So to actually talk to other people and just listen as well. I mean, it's good to listen to people and then maybe they know something that you don't know. I pointed her in the direction of a few things. I also pointed her in the direction of you, Dominic. So
thank you very much.
maybe she might be in touch. But yeah, I mean, if we could just support each other, especially the little charities, because we haven't got people, huge boards behind us. We haven't got endless amounts of money behind us. And if our costs as a small charity are really high compared to the cost of charity that is say UK wide, because they get deals because they're so big. We don't as a little charity, we don't get that benefit of a big name behind us. So if we can support each other as little charities, that would then go a long way to us all moving forward, being more happy in our jobs and being able to give the vital services that all of us do.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think, we talk about, just generally, people talk a lot about saying that if you don't, I do a lot of work, I would do a lot of work with schools and sort of education, but only a head teacher can understand what another head teacher is going through because they're in that same role. Or a police, someone in the services will understand what services is like because they're in that same shit. And I believe it's the same for the voluntary sector, the charity sector, because actually a lot of organisations are very small. And as you say, for the last 8 years, you've been doing a lot of this on your own, as well as, yes, a team of volunteers. But actually, everything comes down to you.
It did, yeah. We had our trustees, but they weren't very hands-on because a lot of trustees aren't. They like to have their meeting and tell you what to do, and then that's it, But I've got more trustees that are more hands-on now, which is a huge help. We're looking at things slightly different to what we used to. And I think we have to evolve and survive. Because I don't want people to not be able to get out and about. I don't want to, because even if people can come to us and try before you buy, because sometimes people buy scooters and then they find that they're not suitable for their actual needs. They buy them to go down in the back of the car and then they're too heavy, or they buy bigger ones and they're not quite right. I had a friend who bought one of those covered scooters and she had a really quite bad accident in it because it was tall, it was a bit unstable and it went down a curb and she fell into the road and it was just awful and she wouldn't use it again after that. So you have to think very carefully, because these salespeople, they turn up and they show you their wares and you're all amazed by it, but then when you actually get to use it, it's okay, maybe it's not as good as what I thought, and then they sit in the garage and then people, so I'm wholeheartedly try before you buy.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Last couple of bits for you, because I've taken enough of your time, but you've been amazing. If someone was listening now, what one action could they take right now to support you?
Well, go to our bookshop, get yourself a nice, very good read. Every penny goes into keeping the charity alive. Come along, be a member, come along, offer yourself for some volunteering. The bookshop's quite well manned at the moment, but we always need volunteers of any sort. I've got people that get the scooters out. I have people that are on reception, that answer the phone, that book the scooters in and out. I've got a few vacancies there. And if anybody knows where I can get any money from, please let me know.
Where can people find you? So social media, whereabouts are you?
Yeah, Meadows Shop Mobility has a website. If you put in Meadow Shop Mobility, it does come up. Beware that sometimes the shopping centre comes up, and we are on their shopping centre as well, but we do have our own website. We are on Facebook as Meadow Shop Mobility and Chelmsford Community Bookshop. We also are on TikTok now. It's a new thing. So that's been quite fun, taking videos and watching the reels on TikTok. It's all new to me. I'm not very good with TikTok, but my assistant is, so you can tell that she's a lot younger than me. And we try our best. We're located in Q Park car park, which is opposite the Odeon Cinema. We're on the ground floor by the disabled bays. And just come in and see us, come in and say hello. If you've got big donations of books, you can always drop them at the office in the car park rather than having to lug them into the shop, because books are heavy, believe it or not. Just keep on coming in, put the word out, bring mum down, bring dad down, bring grandma, and we do wheelchairs as well. And come and see us. Get out, get about, get your life.
Amazing. Geraldine, you have been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you so much for all you do to help us little charities get out there.
Not a problem.
It's amazing. It really is. I keep using the word amazing a lot, but I do feel things are amazing.
Well, all we're trying to do is share what's out there, because actually, again, a lot of the issues are around awareness. As you say, there are so many organisations, and actually, we want to help people. And we want to help. We want to share. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for listening on the podcast or tuning in on YouTube. I'm your host, Don Fenton. This is the Charity Connector, and we'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.